Everything you know about the great civilizations of the Americas, the Maya, the Aztec, the Inca, even the rise of the first great cities in North America is missing the single most important chapter. Because none of them would have existed without a handful of anonymous geniuses, who took ordinary wild grass and turned it into one of the world's most important crops. No metal tools, no writing, no science, just pure human brilliance. So who were these first farmers? How did they pull off the greatest agricultural revolution in human history right here in the Americas? The answer changed an entire continent. And by the end of this video, you'll see why this may have been the greatest agricultural revolution in human history. In the beginning, there was hunger. Not the hunger of a missed meal, but the hunger of survival. 10,000 years ago, this land was a crucible. The Balsas River Valley of Mexico, a place of raw beauty and brutal indifference. Here life was a constant grinding calculation. Every sunrise brought the same question: where is the next meal? Humanity was nomadic, bound to the seasons, slaves to the migration of animals and the fleeting bounty of wild plants. It was a life of relentless motion and fragile fleeting hope. The farming didn't begin overnight. It took thousands of years of observation, experimentation, and patience. Long before metal tools or written records, indigenous communities were already becoming expert botanists. They noticed which plants produce bigger seeds, sweeter fruit, and stronger harvests. Across different parts of the Americas, people gradually began domesticating local plants. Squash was among the earliest. Then came beans, peppers, avocados, potatoes, quinoa, cassava, and finally one crop that would transform an entire continent: maize. Around 9,000 years ago, in what is now southern Mexico, indigenous farmers transformed a wild grass called Teosinte into maize, not through machines, not through laboratories, but through generations of careful observation and selective breeding. It became one of humanity's greatest agricultural achievements. Imagine that, without modern science, they reshaped an ordinary grass into a crop that would eventually feed millions of people. But growing corn alone wasn't enough. So what solved the problem? The answer was brilliant. Farmers planted corn, beans, and squash together. Today, this method is known as the Three Sisters. Corn gave the beans something to climb. Beans returned nitrogen to the soil, and squash covered the ground, locking in moisture and helping keep weeds away. Even today, scientists recognize it as one of history's most effective companion farming systems. Reliable harvests changed everything. Families no longer need to keep moving. Temporary camps became permanent villages. Villages became towns. Populations grew. Trade expanded. People stored food, made pottery, wove textiles, and exchanged shells. Obsidian, copper, and other valuable materials across enormous distances. Agriculture was doing far more than feeding people. It was building civilization across the Andes. People cultivated potatoes and quinoa. In the Amazon, communities relied on cassava. Across Mesoamerica, corn spread from village to village, changing lives for thousands of years. Without agriculture, there would have been no great Maya cities, no towering pyramids, no Cahokia, no Aztec capital, and no vast Inca empire. Everything started here with a handful of seeds and generations who refused to stop learning from nature. But one civilization took this agricultural revolution and transformed it. In the next episode, we'll uncover the story of the Olmec civilization, the first great civilization of the region and one of history's greatest unanswered mysteries. The beginning of Mesoamerican civilization. Subscribe so you don't miss it.